Hey everyone, Wolf Lord Rho here. Today we discuss the nature of Abaddon's relationship with the ruinous powers. Will they truly let him win alone? General spoiler warning to begin, as the events we're discussing today are from across the Warhammer 40k universe. So you have been warned, and with that said, let's just jump straight in. So the Arcs of Omen campaign continues to roll on, ploughing forwards towards its inevitable game-changing conclusion. Because regardless of whatever happens at the climax of this event, whether it's a Primarch return or not, it's become clear by now there's going to be a big impact into the future narrative. The galaxy as we know it is changing. The latest turn of events, as we know, has been Vashtor's installment into the campaign, launching his assault against the Rock. And we'll discuss these events a little later in the week, as there's definitely parts I want to reread and think about before we discuss it. Regardless, however, it's clear the stakes are only rising, and the sense of tension and anticipation has become palpable. However, for all of Abaddon's success, there remains one very key aspect that has been left unaddressed. An aspect or question, if you will, posed by the Despoiler himself. In the Arcs of Omen Abaddon installment, the first chapter of the Arcs of Omen campaign, we saw Abaddon reflecting on the state of the galaxy and his conquest. And it's a very stark and, dare I say, truthful piece of reflection by the Warmaster, revealing that he's all too aware most of the forces that fight under his banner are only doing so for selfish interests. And no pun intended here, but the forces are so chaotic, he can't really claim to command them at all. And I found that a very insightful glimpse into the Warmaster's mind. But even more so was what followed this, what Abaddon considers worse than this. And that is the influence of the Dark Gods. It was revealed here, within Abaddon's inner thoughts, that not only is he aware of how fragile his command of the Chaos Forces is, but that he is also fully aware the Gods of Chaos won't let him win without their help. As Abaddon actually sees it, being forced to beg for their aid, essentially bending the knee, becoming their servant. Now, we've touched on this somewhat over the weeks previously, but we've yet to really drill down into the question itself, the repercussions of just what it could mean. Will the Gods of Chaos let Abaddon win? Will the ruinous powers allow the Warmaster of Imperium Nihilus, as he likes to be known now, achieve victory without becoming Horus Mark II? Well, as far as Abaddon is concerned, the answer is no. You could say that this has all been preordained since Horus himself fell. That any being or figure that rises to become Warmaster only really does so because of the God's influence. Yes, Abaddon is his own man. Yes, Abaddon has proven an almighty show of character, of force of will, in many eyes eclipsing the feats of his Primarch father. However, the argument could be made he has only done so because the gods have allowed it. And in truth, it's beyond argument that he does benefit from the gods' favour. We discussed the perfect example of this last week, how the blood god Khorne intervened when Khan the Betrayer sought Abaddon's skull. The blood god sending a whole host of his own demonic minions to stop the fight, to force Khan to follow Abaddon's leadership. And this was the chosen of Khorne, second only to Angron within the blood god's eyes. And here he not only stopped him, but he forced him to serve Abaddon, a man not dedicated to the blood god's service. Now, I guess the question you have to ask is, would a god of chaos do this simply to better achieve victory? And in many ways I could say yes. In knowing how well Abaddon is doing against the Imperium, how he alone has brought such success, you could understand it from a logical point of view. Indeed, the hatred of the Emperor is the only thing that has ever truly unified the gods of chaos together. They fear him. They always have. So you'd think if any champion out there had the chance of eliminating him for them, then surely they'd seek to help them. That is what Khorne's doing there. But ultimately for me, and I guess for Abaddon, that's just not how the Chaos Gods work. They don't think in terms of logic or reason. They are consumed by their wants, their desires. They are beings, powers, gods, however you wish to describe them, fundamentally created by the emotions that fuel, that sustain them. They hunger for them insatiably. Their goal only, to increase their own power. That is their big picture. That is all they care about. A perfect example is Khorne's own mantra. He cares not from where the blood flows, only that it does. It's why the great game is eternal. If Khorne favoured Abaddon over Khan, it's not because he's content to support Abaddon's campaign, content for the Warmaster to deny his patronage. It's because that war brings him closer to his own desires. Yes, one step closer to terror. Yes, more skulls for the throne. But more importantly, one step closer to Abaddon beneath the blood god's sway. While no god has claims to Abaddon's soul, all of them will continue to chase it. They don't want someone to beat the Emperor for them. They want to beat him themselves. Horus wasn't defeating the Emperor for the gods of chaos. He was the tool they were using. I'm going to reference the Siege of Terra series here, so minor spoiler. But in all the conversations between Horus and the Emperor that we see within it, there's a reason why the Emperor is speaking to the shadows behind Horus, not to Horus himself. Because he knows Horus is just the tool. That they, the ruinous powers, they are the true enemy. Not just of him, but of mankind, of the galaxy entire. Let's put it this way. If Abaddon somehow got his forces to Terra, if he somehow fought his way into the throne room, the Imperium's on its knees and he stands before the Emperor with Drachnien in hand, do you truly feel the Chaos Gods would be content, all of them, to sit back and watch this figure, who had benefited from their power, their favour, yet defied their patronage, kill the Emperor? Not in their name, not in their cause, but all in his own? The answer for me is absolutely no chance. Even in the unlikely event this whole state of affairs does continue right up to Abaddon's presence within the throne room, he would be absolutely assailed by the calls, the lures, the temptations, the appeals, and then the demands of the gods of chaos. And even then, if he continued to defy them, he continued to fight the war in his own name, to remain his own master, the throne room would be instantly filled with the servants of the gods in the blink of an eye, as each one of them not only vied for their right to kill the Emperor, but to most likely prevent Abaddon from doing so himself. without submitting to them, to punish him for his continued defiance, in spite of all of their favour, in spite of all of their gifts. So when Abaddon says the gods of chaos won't let him win without submitting, he's absolutely right. He's seen it. He's seen it all before firsthand. The tool that became of his father. The Primarch filled with dark powers beyond any form of comprehension. The Primarch who claimed he was using the dark gods, but in truth belonged to them entirely. Horus Lupercal. It's ironic. It's the symbol of why Abaddon refuses the ruinous powers, but it's also the symbol of the only way he can truly achieve his victory, by submitting entirely to the Four. Because short of the unified patronage of the full pantheon, chaos would always turn on itself. And even then it can only last so long. You see it right now. Even with Abaddon's continued success, his victories tearing the galaxy asunder like never before, the great game continues to rage. That for all they may favour Abaddon, the dark gods continue to fight and scrap against each other. The simple fact is, Abaddon is the one thing unifying chaos, but he's also the one thing keeping it divided. But as always everyone, what do you think? This is an interesting conundrum for me. The balance between favour and patronage. How far that line can be walked before there's no turning back. I really find it interesting how Abaddon is fully aware of the predicament he's in with the gods of chaos. How he knows their power and favour is a benefit he very much needs. Yet he also knows it could cost him that ultimate victory. Yet still he defies it all anyway. And honestly, I think the question could be raised on if Abaddon could even win without them. Ignoring the gods of chaos stopping him for a minute, could Abaddon even kill the Emperor without their help? Yes, he still has the demon sword Drachnien, but he's got to get close enough to use it. The Emperor's body may be virtually dead, but his mind, as we know, is very much not. Honestly, even if the gods didn't stop him, I'm not sure he could kill the Emperor without embracing their power. It'll be interesting to see how this plays out moving forward. How much more the demands of the gods may slowly begin to creep to the fore, showing how much Abaddon is actually having to fight against them, striking that balance between accepting their favour and resisting. Because let's be honest, Abaddon is a lone soul in that regard, at least to his level of power. How also Vashtor may affect that balance as well. Because again, as we've said before, there's only so far they're likely to let his campaign progress. They aren't having a fifth god rise to their pantheon anytime soon. But as always everyone, leave your thoughts in the comments below, I love to read them. Huge thank you to all my subscribers, your support truly means a lot to me, it really does. If you're new, please consider subscribing to help the channel grow. And if you enjoyed this particular vid, then why not drop a like on it too. But with that said, I am off, and I'll see you all again real soon.